Look at this loaf of bread. Now look at this piece of paper, or this metal coin. Have you ever stopped to wonder how a completely inedible, functionally useless piece of paper magically transforms into currency? How does it circulate through the market, wielding the absolute power to purchase life-sustaining goods like this bread? What invisible anchor gives it this undeniable value? More importantly, tracking the journey from human labor to commodities, and finally to money. At exactly which point does the exploitation begin? We live in an era of unprecedented technological miracles. Global productivity is at an all-time high, yet our daily pressure, our stress, and our financial anxiety only seem to multiply. Is this simply a matter of market overcapacity? Is it just tightening liquidity? Or is there a much deeper, hidden contradiction between human labor, commodities, and capital? Welcome to our deep dive into the very blueprint of modern capitalism. Today, we are decoding the matrix. In the opening lines of his magnum opus, Karl Marx stated that the wealth of capitalist societies presents itself as an immense accumulation of commodities. The individual commodity is the cellular unit of this wealth. To understand the disease, we must first put this single cell under the microscope. A commodity is fundamentally an external object that satisfies a human need, and here is the first trap. The market does not care whether that need comes from your stomach, like physical hunger, or from your fantasy. To the system, both are merely triggers for consumption. Every commodity possesses a dual nature, use value and value. Use value is the physical utility of the object. A winter coat keeps you warm, a bottle of water keeps you hydrated. But pay close attention here. In a capitalist economy, use value is completely secondary. The system does not exist to satisfy human needs. It exists for capital accumulation. Use value is nothing more than the basic entry ticket to the marketplace. To understand this, let's look at a modern corporate job interview. In this scenario, you are the commodity. Your skills, your degree, and your experience. That is your use value. It is the baseline requirement to get your foot in the door. But the interviewer, acting as an agent of capital, is not just looking at your use value. They are calculating your potential to create surplus value. Imagine a candidate with excellent technical skills who strictly works 9 to 5 and refuses to sacrifice their personal life. Compare them to a candidate with average skills, but who is willing to abandon their dignity, work through the weekends, and blindly chase extra revenue for the boss. Who gets the job? Almost always, it is the latter. This is the dark truth behind the so-called wolf culture or hustle culture we see today. These are beautifully packaged, gamified slogans designed to mask a brutal reality. Humans are being reduced to mere instruments of capital accumulation. The friction between your desire to provide genuine value and the system's demand to squeeze you for surplus profit is the exact root of modern workplace burnout. But if use value is just the physical shell, what determines the actual value of a commodity? It is the abstract human labor crystallized within it. But here is where we must break a massive societal illusion. The market does not reward you simply because you worked hard. Value is determined by socially necessary labor time, the average time required to produce an item under normal societal conditions. Imagine 2 tailors. A master tailor makes a shirt in 2 hours. An unskilled tailor struggles, bleeds, and takes 4 hours to make the exact same shirt. The market does not care about the unskilled tailor's extra suffering. If the societal average is 2 hours, the value of that shirt is strictly locked at 2 hours. The extra effort is entirely erased. This is a ruthless, invisible scale, and it explains a terrifying paradox. As technology and productivity increase, the time required to make things drops, and therefore, the value of individual commodities plummets. To maintain profit, the system must produce more, and you are forced to run endlessly faster on the treadmill just to survive. This efficiency obsession is exactly why traditional, time-consuming craftsmanship was historically wiped out by the mechanical assembly line, only regaining value much later when society recognized its cultural scarcity. This brings us to a profound psychological phenomenon: commodity fetishism. Because we exchange goods purely based on their abstract value, we begin to mistake the social relationships between humans for natural properties of physical objects. Take a luxury designer bag and a generic canvas tote. Both share the exact same use value, carrying your items. But society arbitrarily injects the designer bag with the illusion of prestige, power, and status. We forget that we are the ones who assigned this power. We let the objects dominate us. People will sacrifice their financial freedom, compensating for their own psychological shadows, just to acquire an object they believe will elevate them. We are no longer mastering our possessions are mastering us. So, how did this system evolve to its ultimate form, money? Historically, value expression evolved from simple barter, say, trading 6 bags of rice for 1 sheep, to using a universally recognized general equivalent, like salt in the ancient world. Eventually, this crystallized into precious metals, and today into the complex fiat currencies we use, like the US dollar. But modern fiat is a different beast. Take the US dollar, post-1971, after breaking away from the gold standard, it transitioned into a system heavily backed by the petrodollar structure and geopolitical, military hegemony. This allows the issuer the exorbitant privilege of printing global wealth, exporting inflation, and harvesting the economies of developing nations. But the underlying mechanism of trade remains deeply tied to the original evolution of the commodity form. And this leads us to the ultimate trap, the circulation of capital. Originally, human trade followed a simple formula: commodity, money, commodity, CMC. You produce a good, sell it for money, and use that money to buy the things you need to survive. The end goal was the satisfaction of human life. But capitalism inverted this formula. It became money, commodity, more money, MCM. The goal is no longer human satisfaction. The goal is the endless, relentless accumulation of digits on a screen. Money is thrown into the market not to buy what is needed, but to breed more money. Look at the real estate market. A house's primary use value is shelter. But when it gets absorbed into the MCM formula, it becomes a speculative financial vehicle. People leverage themselves in debt, buying homes not to live in, but solely to extract the price difference. The social relationship dictates the price, but people mistake it for the natural trajectory of the concrete and steel. We end up living in a world producing wealth merely for the sake of wealth, leaving the human element entirely alienated. We have built a machine of infinite efficiency, yet we have never felt more like cogs inside of it. The question you must ask yourself tonight is this: as you trade your finite hours on this earth for capital, are you utilizing the system to secure your freedom, or has the system successfully convinced you to willingly engineer your own cage? If this breakdown changed the way you view the world around you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It signals the algorithm to share this knowledge with others who might be feeling the exact same unseen pressures. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Where do you see the MCM trap playing out most obviously in your own life? Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and remember, the best investment you can make is understanding the rules of the game you are forced to play.